ESPN The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wasman.
Good evening and welcome to the Week 9 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. We are presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wasman, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy. We got Ryan Kennedy, Skip Cottrell, and Casey Gaines, our cast of thousands tonight, walking you through the final scores from Week 9 of the prep football season. Lining up some coaches to speak with tonight as well. We'll highlight some of the top performances with our helmet stickers. Talk about some power rankings and district championships. But first, let's get things started with tonight's opening drive.
Taking you through tonight's top stories, this is Opening Drive on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
And leading tonight's opening drive is J.T. Curtis. He ties a record of career wins in high school football, 621 total in his career, with a 26-7 win over Brother Martin. He needs one more to pass the late John McKissick of Summerville, South Carolina. We've had Coach on here before. He was always gracious with his time, driving back to New Orleans in a police escort to get on his television show. But look, back in 2013, it was Curtis, among other teams, that were highlighted and pinpointed for what they were doing. A lot of people have chased after what Coach JT did. It wasn't always easy, as he brought it up in his conversations with us about his first years and how things were not as great. But
0-10.
I mean, he went through a 2-game losing streak earlier this year. He went through one, a couple of years ago in 2020 or so. But there's something about what he's done. He has a process. Hey, hats off and congratulations to Coach JT Curtis.
Every time I've dealt with him, he's been nothing but a class act. And I think, people get so caught up around the wrong things, and he doesn't get enough credit for doing things not only the right way, but also the smart way, meaning his kids in second and third and fourth grade are running the same offense they're running in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. That's the way it should be. There are coaches that can't get their middle school coaches to do that. So when your name's on the school, that does help.
It does help.
Yeah.
But, you've got to give him credit. And how old is he? And just he loves it. And I think he always has time for everybody. I have nothing but great things to say about him as a coach as well as a person.
Every time we've reached out to him, he has a show at the same time as ours. So he's very hard to get on the air. But he has been gracious to do it. The dealings I've had with him, talking to him at clinics, he like Todd said, I was going to say the same thing. He's always been first class. A lot of people are jealous.
Yep.
Let's be honest, because of the success he has. But he's been good for high school football. He'll get a chance to set the record next week against Carr, which Carr did just go final, and a back and forth game with Rummel. Carr did win 39-31. Rummel scored a lot of points against Carr because they wasn't giving up anything on the year. So giving up 31 kind of surprises me.
Another score to bring up in the opening drive. Wasman gets the win over Union Parish. 12-7 was the final, and their first win over the Farmers since 2016. So they come out. It's a physical game. They get the win. I know that the coach over there had pinpointed 55-12, according to Jake Martin. They were not going to feel that way coming off the field tonight. And, boy, with a score like that, you feel like you earned it for sure.
I think a lot of people were asking the question, is Wasman for real? You go back and you look at it, this was the first time they've given up points in 13 quarters. They held Calvary to 21, which would have been blowing out 5A teams earlier in the year, and still are. And so they're kind of, I think it was a 21-6 game. That kind of opened your eyes up And now I think they answered every question tonight. Wasman will be a contender.
So the dynamic in Monroe City schools, there's 3 schools. You got Neville, of course, that's more on the north side, and then you got Wasman and Carroll. Wasman and Carroll are probably a mile apart as a crow flies.
What about Richwood?
Richwood's Washita Parish School.
Okay.
With West Monroe and Washita. Okay. And so it's interesting because I'm pretty sure that Carroll, I shouldn't say it, but is a failing school, which means Wasman can get all those kids if they want to, and I'm going to verify during the break that they are. And but Carroll's been struggling, so there's a big rivalry going on in there, and there's athletes there. There's never been stability. There was years ago, but if Wasman can get that, that they have very good success in basketball. You see girls and boys basketball always up there.
Stability from a coaching staff
Correct.
standpoint. Okay.
Absolutely.
And administration. It takes
Correct.
administration.
That's right.
So congratulations to them. We will be talking a lot more about the Wildcats in the coming weeks, I'm sure. And finally tonight in the opening drive, you heard us just a second ago. I can pull up the statement released by the parish school board. But Donaldsonville Patterson game was suspended in the beginning of the third quarter. Gunshots that were fired outside of Floyd Booty Stadium, and it's homecoming night. But man, this unfortunately is a reoccurring story we've heard way too many times this season. There were 2 that were injured and taken to the hospital. That's really all the information we have at this time. But hats off to law enforcement, first responders who, as Coach Black was saying just a second ago, unfortunately have had to prepare in a way that you wouldn't think you need to prepare for a high school football game, but they were out there and were ready to assist in this situation, and they've been called upon. You would think, as Jimmy said, you can go to a high school football game and this would be the least of your worries, but we've got some, quite frankly, we've got some jackasses that don't know what to do. I don't know what else to say.
Said it clear.
Ooh. So let's go ahead and get you caught up on some scores. Lots more to get to. I know we're efforting Coach.
I'm trying to get Darnell Lee.
Coach Darnell Lee, big win for East Ascension. They've had a tough go, but a tough schedule, but they get a win. And lots more as well. I know we are looking forward to conversations with coaches tonight. Let's get you caught up on scores. We'll go around the state, and we'll start first in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
East Ascension 48-9 over Live Oak. Plaquemine a 55-20 winner over Faraday. Episcopal defeats East Feliciana 50-14. Ascension Catholic 67, White Castle 26. Santa Maud 31-28 winner over Walker. Zachary defeats Liberty 56-14. St. John over East Iberville 54-14. And Dutchtown 38, Denham Springs 7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John F. Kennedy blanks Patrick Taylor 51-0. Holy Cross over Jesuit 30-0. John Curtis defeats Brother Martin 26-7. Edie White over Sam Houston 45-31. Edna Carr, a close one, 39-31 over Rummel. St. Aug and De La Salle play tomorrow night. Destrehan 23, East St. John 13. Thibodeau 26, Terrebonne 21.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Thomas More over Westgate 31-21. Acadiana a close one over Carencrow 27-26. Iowa 26, St. Louis Catholic 21. Catholic New Iberia defeats Loreauville 14-0. Jennings over Lake Charles College Prep 30-28. Kender defeats Westlake 32-21. Opelousas all over Roe Bridge 51-7. Church Point 12, Kaplan 8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
West Monroe over Alexandria 28-23. Neville defeats Franklin Parish 58-14. Homer over Glenbrook 38-28. Manny defeats Red River 52-18. West Washita over Pineville 21-7. Airline defeats Parkway 33-16. Wasman over Union Parish 12-7. And Ruston 49, Ouachita 7.
The North Shore Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
St. Paul on a close one, 20-19 over Ponchatoula. Covington and North Shore is still in progress. Lakeshore defeats Hannon 56-28. Bogalusa over Pine 42-21. Mandeville defeats Hammond 46-6. Pearl River and Solomon are still in progress. Jewel Sumner 27, Albany 21. And Slidell 49, Fontainebleau 21.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Bus ride back home better since 2011. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Coach Todd Black, Coach Jimmy Roy, Cade Wasman, Ryan Kennedy in the spooky tunes tonight.
He doesn't look spooky though.
You got to see him when he first walked in. It was a little scary. Look, speaking of which, stay tuned tonight, especially our audience on Your View and on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We got a treat for you. There's a house in Ascension Parish that I tell you what goes above and beyond every year, and we're going to highlight it.
And she can be hired too. I'll get you those numbers. If you want it done for next year, I'd go ahead and call.
You must have a real big ladder.
Coach. I went by Wednesday and saw it. It's very impressive.
All right, let's go ahead. Speaking of impressive, let's go to the hotline and join Coach Kyle Lasang from E.D. White. They get the win tonight over Sam Houston. Coach, congratulations on the win, and thanks so much for a couple of minutes with us.
Hey, no problem, guys. Yeah, it was a great night. Sam Houston came to our place this year and didn't play a perfect football game, but we're able to get the win.
Coach, you've had your program on a roll here for the last 4 years now, counting it, with 2 semifinals and 1 finals in the last 3 years. Here you are sitting 9-0. I think this is your second stint at E.D. White, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, correct.
What have you been doing to? I know you have a great group of kids, so most of the credit goes to them. But what have you done to change the whole culture and the program over there? Because you guys you're on a roll right now.
Yeah, when I interviewed for the second time, one of my goals was to have a staff in place that I really could delegate responsibilities, and we have that. We got a really good staff. Coach Grant Chasson takes over the offense and he calls every play, and then Chris Bageron runs our defense. So I stay out of that kind of stuff. I just organize things, make sure that we are on the right page, make sure that we're practicing efficiently, and try not to screw anything up. So I just kind of stay out of the way and let those guys work, and it's worked. It allows me more time to individually maybe impact a kid, get a kid back where he needs to be if he's down. So it's been I'll tell you, it's been easy the second rotation.
Do you have any Parringtons on your staff?
I do not. I have some Parringtons that I grew up with, and Pat Parrington was actually the best man at my wedding. So listen, man, I love those guys. Actually, Michael Parrington was inducted into the Cardinal Greats too. But man, if Mike wants to quit the Saints and come coach, he's welcome to.
Well, don't make no mistake about it. Joel runs that whole family and the household, right?
Oh, don't. We all know that. We all know that.
Coach, your offense has been really impressive. Looking at some numbers, you're coming into this game, I had you averaging 49.5. Your season low was 41 against Assumption, which happened to beat Lutcher last week. You return 8 on offense. It starts with your quarterback. Are you still running the veer?
Yeah, we don't run as much veer, but that's what we're based out of. We have some wing tee stuff, but I'm happy to say that we're proficient throwing the ball this year. So we've been more balanced than we ever have been. It's probably shown up in more points. But we've had great special teams, and it's really put us in really good field position for most of the year. Tonight wasn't the same story. We had some long fields that we had to put some drives together. But Coach Chasson did a great job. Jake Sternfels at quarterback is just a tremendous guy for us. He's been our quarterback for 3 years, and he makes everything go.
And you talk about being able to throw the ball. You got a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver in Paxton LaFont.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your special teams game. Ty Powell has been solid for you all year. Talk about those two guys.
Yeah, Paxton's a threat, man. We try to get him the ball at least 5 or 6 times a game. He broke one tonight. Just threw it out to him on a screen, and he broke one. And he's a threat anytime he gets the football. So he has helped our offense, and he's opened up some other things for some other guys. Our tight end has had a good season. Our other receivers had a really good season. And look, I can't say enough about Ty Powell. When you can kick the ball in the end zone and make them start at the 20. That's a good start, man. You go 3 and out, you make them punt. If they don't have a good punting game, then you got the ball in midfield, and that's what it's been most of the season. So it's been a really good combination of all those things.
Go ahead, Ty.
I was just going to ask you, Coach. Excuse me. We've had Chad Davis from Sam Houston on a couple of weeks ago. They had a tough one last week. Their offense has kind of evolved, and is that going to be good for you down the line defensively to see an offense like that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're the best offense we've seen. Their quarterback is really good. Their receivers caught the ball with their hands, and, man, he threw the ball in some tight windows. And we had good coverage, and they picked up some key first downs, kept the ball going. So, I'm sure there's some offenses that are probably just as good, but those guys are really, really proficient on offense. We got a couple stops early in the game and jumped out early, and it kind of carried through the first half. We gave up a long touchdown right before half, so going in half, you could have hung your head and come out in the second half and kind of tanked, and our kids didn't. We took the first kickoff and went in and scored. So I'm just really proud of our kids' efforts.
We mentioned your offense putting up 49 a game, and that's the side of the ball, Todd, where they return 8 of their starters, so you would expect that. But defense is allowing 9.4, and you replaced 8 of those guys last year.
Correct. Yeah.
Who's the leader of the defense?
Well, Taylor Thibodeau at middle linebacker has just been so solid for us. He makes plays. Look, I'll be honest with you. We played Terrebonne in the Jamboree, and after that Jamboree, I was like, man, I don't know. We're going to have to outscore people. I don't know how good we are on defense. But those kids got some experience, and we've been really good up front. Our defensive line has really developed, and we've covered people in the secondary. We've made people drive the football. So I think that's really the key. Look, those kids are not rookies anymore. They play the whole season, so feel pretty confident going into the playoffs.
Well,
going back to that 80-yard field, that is a big help for that defense too, right?
Absolutely.
Eric Hill told us at one time it's like a 20 or 30% chance of a team driving the length of the field, so your numbers are low.
Yep.
Coach, big one next week. I know you want to enjoy this one because that is a real quality win for you guys. You were number 4 going into tonight. Yep. Good possibility you may jump up a little bit. But St. James next week, that's going to be a great one. Where's that one at?
That's going to be in Vacherie. So, we'll be on the road. Not far.
Right.
But, man, it's always a battle when we play those guys. And it's for a district championship. We know they're really explosive on offense, and it's going to be another challenge for our defense. But we're going to prepare well. I think we're going to be okay.
That should be one hell of an atmosphere, man.
Tell Levante he can't blow that train horn.
Any kind of tailgate food you want, it'll be there. So just get ready. Everybody's knocking off at noon on that. So it's going to be great.
Hey, get Mark Norman, old Pop down there to give y'all a little Papa Earl season down there and
no doubt.
Do y'all a little cooking for y'all.
I hear you, brother.
All right, Coach. Man. Thank you, man. Congratulations.
Y'all be good. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Edie White getting the win tonight over Sam Houston, 45-31, and that defense was tested. Sam Houston scored some points, but sometimes you look at a number on a winning side and you say, what are you talking about defense? They scored 31. But I think sometimes defenses can make a stand. They can make a play. You can do something where you go, hey, it's a tough test. You're going against a good team. You're not going to give up, 14 points or 7 points or hold a team to something every week. But you can still point out good things defensively when you're talking about a team like Edie White that's going to score a lot.
Playing a team like this in Week 9, playing Sam Houston.
Non-district,
5A team. You're going to get power points for it because Sam Houston's good, plus the play-up points. This is a really good win. It's a good opportunity to face a team who can throw the football before you play St. James next week, which has some athletes all over the field, puts up plenty of points. The one thing that concerned me going into this week was Sam Houston being 6-2 in their 2 losses were to Veer teams, and that was Karen Crow and Acadiana, which run it as well as anybody. But in those 2 losses, they'd give up 52.5 and then give up 45 tonight to Edie White. That was the only thing that kind of concerned me about Sam Houston. But Edie White and Coach was saying they're doing a great job.
Let me ask you this. From Sam Houston's standpoint, you lost a very tough game against a great team last week in Karen Crow. Edie White's arguably the best team in probably 3A or Division II. how does Coach Davis at Sam Houston let his team know, even though they're 0-2, they're better than they were 2 weeks ago?
Well, you sit there and you look at it.
Would you agree they're better than they were?
They absolutely are. They're absolutely better. You got to look at E.D. White. What's 8-0, 9-0 now. Karen Crow, 8-1. Acadiana, what's they now? 7-2, I think. Yeah, they have lost to the LCA and Curtis. So you hadn't lost to just some average ball team. I mean,
right.
And we've talked about it for the last 2 weeks. Sam Houston, even though they lost again, they're headed in the right direction. And sometimes you got to play in these games and lose them before you can win them. Todd and I was talking about it.
You're not losing the slouches.
You take a case in Terrebonne.
Yeah.
Who had a big win last week over East St. John, handing them their first loss, and then they turn around and lose to Thibodeau. They haven't been in this position in I don't even know when. So you got to go through some of these growing pains before you can get there.
Speaking of, you were mentioned while we were, I think, off there, Woodlawn.
Yeah, Woodlawn comes back and beats Central 36-35. Central was up 21-0 at half. And then Woodlawn comes out of nowhere. And, you know, I talked to Coach Semino on Monday, I think it was, and they had suffered 2 really tough losses against Catholic High and Zachary. Monday, I can tell you, they felt like they were better off playing those 2 games, that they were a better team now, and then you let one slip away because you think now you have these last 2 games.
Wait, hold on. So I'm just getting a check that says they beat Woodlawn 35-0.
I've had it reported at 2 different places.
That would make more sense.
36-5 and 35-0 would make more sense, but we've had it reported on 2 different places.
While we check that,
we appreciate that. Though.
Yeah,
we will follow up on that, guys. Let's go ahead and give a New Orleans Bayou area score, following up with what we just heard from E.D. White. So we'll do a New Orleans Bayou score update, and then we'll take a break. But right now, we'll check in on what happened in the New Orleans Bayou area for Week 9.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John F. Kennedy over Patrick Taylor, 51-0. Holy Cross shuts out Jesuit, 30-0. John Curtis over Brother Martin, 26-7. E.D. White over Sam Houston, 45-31. Edna Carr, 39. Archbishop Rummel, 31. St. Aug and De La Salle will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Destrehan, 23-13 winner over East St. John. And Thibodeau, 26. Terrebonne, 21.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. The Capital City Scoreboard. Served by Walk-Ons.
East Ascension over Live Oak 48-9. Plaquemine over Faraday 55-20. Episcopal defeats East Feliciana 50-14. Ascension Catholic over White Castle 67-26. Santa Ma over Walker 31-28. Zachary defeats Liberty 56-14. St. John over East Iberville 54-14. And Dutchtown 38. Denham Springs 7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard. Pumped by peak performance.
John F. Kennedy blanks Patrick Taylor 51-0. Holy Cross shuts out Jesuit 30-0. John Curtis over Brother Martin 26-7. Edie White a 45-31 winner over Sam Houston. Edna Carr defeats Archbishop Rummel 39-31. St. Augustine de La Salle played tomorrow night at 7. Destrehan a 23-13 winner over East St. John. And Thibodaux 26, Terrebonne 21.
The Acadiana Scoreboard. Restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Thomas More defeats Westgate 31-21. Acadiana a point better than Carencro 27-26. Iowa defeats St. Louis Catholic 26-21. Catholic New Iberia shuts out Laurelville 14-0. Jennings defeats Lake Charles College Prep 30-28. Kender over Westlake 32-21. Opelousas defeats Breaux Bridge 51-7. Church Point over Kaplan 12-8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard. Insured by State Farm.
West Monroe over Alexandria 28-23. Neville defeats Franklin Parish 58-14. Homer over Glenbrook 38-28. Manny defeats Red River 52-18. West Ouachita 21, Pineville 7. Airline over Parkway 33-16. Wasman defeats Union Parish 12-7. Ruston over Ouachita 49-7.
The North Shore Scoreboard. Presented by Lake Urgent Care.
St. Paul a point better than Ponchatoula 20-19. Covington a point better than North Shore 22-21. Lakeshore over Archbishop Hannon 56-28. Bogalusa over Pine, 42-21. Mandeville, 46. Hammond, 6. Salmon, 49. Pearl River, 7. Joel Sumner over Albany, 27-21. And Slidell over Fontainebleau, 49-21.
Skip Couturier with your scores. If you're looking for a full scoreboard, watch us on YourView or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel for the scrolling ticker on the bottom of the screen. That is a complete look of all games, all finals from around the state tonight. Jimmy Roy has a score correction for us.
Correct. Central did win 35-0 over Woodlawn. We had multiple reports saying Woodlawn had come back from a 21-0 deficit.
That's what that bourbon does to you. I tried to tell you.
I hadn't had any. Maybe I need some tonight after that fiasco.
That's an easy way to get your text not read anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Central did come back and win 135.
Kind of a surprise to me. It was Opelousas, the way they beat Bro Bridge 51-7.
Opelousas is good.
They lost last week, didn't they?
They did to Cecilia, which right now, Cecilia, Wasman. I'm from South Louisiana. You from North Louisiana.
How about Huntington over at Evangel?
I was just looking at that. Just looking at that one. Yeah, that one.
You guys say Louisiana? Never mind.
Say it.
But no, you mentioned Opelousas. I mean, Sandoval played Opelousas, and that was one of their toughest tests before they got into district play. We saw how good they were playing at that point.
Opelousas was 9-1 last year, where they only lost to Turlings, I think, in week 1. Then they lost in the second round of the playoffs after a bye to Lakeshore by 1 point. They played a lot of freshmen, sophomore, juniors for the last couple of years. Now these freshmen have grown. They're still, I think they're returning like 17 starters off of last year's team, and they're still a very, very junior-heavy team. So they're a team that come playoff time, they could make some noise.
Staying in Acadiana for a second. Westgate, I believe it lost 3 out of 4 coming into tonight. We know that they lost their quarterback, some other key injuries, but this team is fighting. I mean, you're going up against St. Thomas More. No one's going to make excuses. Everyone has to deal with injuries, but they fall by 10 to St. Thomas More tonight. St. Thomas More has got a big one with LCA next week.
Well, Westgate just struggles to score offensively. They scored 21 tonight, but in the last 3, after Jabari Antoine went out with injury, the quarterback against Calvary, they've only scored 14.7. They scored 21 tonight. I honestly thought this game was a little closer than what I had kind of predicted. The Karen Crow Acadiana game, if we're going to stay in that Acadiana area, this was a back and forth. Karen Crow led 13-7 at half. Acadiana took the lead 14-13. Then it was 21-20 Acadiana, and Karen Crow scores with Karen Crow misses a field goal, actually, with 3:29 left, and you think, okay, Acadiana's going to hold on, but then Karen Crow gets the ball back, scores with 2:11 left, and then to make it 26-21, and then Acadiana answers, for the win, and so that's a really good win for Matt McCullough and his Rams over there.
There was a big one down in New Orleans, and I think if I was Kenner Discovery's coach, I'd just struggle with losing to the Willow School. They lost 54-19.
Wow.
Yeah, they probably
not close.
Hey, another big one over in that area that we don't know a lot about is St. Louis and Iowa. St. Louis took a 21-12 lead at the half, and Iowa comes back and wins at 26-21. Iowa moves to 7-2. St. Louis drops to 7-2. It's the first time they've lost to a team in Louisiana. They lost to Vidor, Texas, in week 3 early in the year. Tommy John and
so
his
they're still undefeated against teams in California?
Yeah. So Tommy Johns and his guys have done a really good job over there at Iowa. They're always in it back and forth. But they've won 6 straight now. Who else we got in that Acadiana? Calicut of New Iberia, 6-2, and Laurelville 6-2. Calicut of New Iberia gets the shutout, 14-0 to move to 7-2. That probably was for the district championship over that away. That's about it.
Next week, really, I think you're looking at that St. Thomas More, LCA, and a couple others.
Next week, there's games, really good games, all over the state.
A lot of implications.
You got U-High, Parkview around here. You got Catholic and Zachary. You have West Monroe, Ruston,
Newman, St. Charles.
Newman, St. Charles. Yeah, there's some. I have different thoughts on playing that tough of a game in week 10, especially if you have a tough draw in the first round. I never liked playing Parkview in week 10, even though it set up the district championship in most cases, and the atmosphere.
The games could be super
phenomenal.
physical, and
physical, and then if you turn around now a lot of the good teams have byes. Like, Zachary probably should have a bye, especially if they win, they'll get that time off. But
give that Pitt a chance to cool off a little bit.
Now St. Michael's has an off week next week. Neville has an off week next week.
They've traditionally had that, yeah.
Neville coming into tonight, which they got a big win over Franklin Parish. They were sitting at number 2 in the power rankings going in. I think that's where they were last year. So they're going to have a bye in week 1 of the playoffs. So that's going to put them kind of like Dutchtown was early in the year, with 21 days off before they're playing. I don't know why they didn't go back after last year and say, okay, we need to find somebody to play week 10.
I'm sure it's LHSA's fault.
Maybe they'll file an injunction again.
And they're number 2 in the power rankings.
Yeah. We continue on week 9 here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, and remind you this time of season, could it be high of around 60s, low around 40s on Tuesday for Halloween? Yep. You need to get the long sleeves out. BSN Sports, bsnsports.com. Not only the gear, but the equipment you need. And we'll probably be rocking those new quarter zips next week because the weather is going to cool off for a couple days, hopefully.
If I ever remember to bring them for the other guys.
Oh, yeah. Did Jimmy, you got yours?
Yes.
Okay. I thought we had missed it. But we got it. Oh, I see. Yeah. Hands back there. Is looking. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back here. Week 9 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard on YouTube, your view, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well.
Devin Ducote from West Feliciana High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by walk-ons.
East Ascension over Live Oak, 48-9. Plaquemine over Faraday, 55-20. Episcopal, 50. East Feliciana, 14. Ascension Catholic, 67. White Castle, 26. Santa Maula, 31-28 winner over Walker. Zachary over Liberty, 56-14. St. John, 54. East Iberville, 14. And Dutchtown, 38. Denham Springs, 7.
Thank you, Skip and Ryan and Casey behind the scenes. Our cast of thousands making it happen. If you're looking for a full scoreboard, we've got that on the bottom of the screen. Our scrolling scoreboard ticker for Week 9. You can see that if you're watching us on your view of the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And the game that a lot of people were looking at tonight, Santa Maula and Walker over there in 5A, and the Gators had a lead. About 14-0 at just a couple minutes into halftime, after halftime, and Walker stormed back. But the Gators come away with a 31-28 win.
Walker returned a kickoff for a touchdown. I wonder if it was our Bordalis.
That'd be interesting. He's had at least a couple
punt returns. But yeah, they got back into the game. Actually took a lead with 10:22 left in the fourth quarter on a really well-designed play call. They went to like a 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, kind of did. It's a tight end on a drag, kind of like a throwback, but not a throwback like I've seen done before, but it was a really good play call. And I thought at that point they were going to take advantage of it and go ahead and win the game because Walker's played extremely well late in the half. But Santa Maula was able to come back and answer it and come out with a 31-28 win. Going into this one, Walker was sitting at number 6 in the power rankings and Santa Maula 8. They could flip-flop somewhere up in there. Also down in Ascension Parish, Dutchtown sitting at number 5. Gets a 38-7 win over Denham Springs. Denham Springs sitting at 37. I think their playoff hopes are done. I thought they were done before tonight, but having what they had with Dutchtown and all their wins, plus you had you play Walker next week. If you
Yeah.
could have somehow won those 2 games back to back, your power rankings would have went up there to put them right around there. But I think this one does it for them. Again, they continue to struggle offensively. Todd got to see part of that. Said just looked out of rhythm, out of sync, never could get anything generated.
And I think that's just the best way to put it when they come off the sideline or come out of the sideline to the field, the beginning of the game, and they're kind of looking at each other. It just kind of gave you an impression they were a little bit lost. Special teams played a big part of this initially. Carter Hanbury blocked a punt that set up a touchdown, and actually Denham Springs had 1 first down in the first half.
Ooh.
And so and now Denham's defense, Dutchtown's defense is playing really well, and I think it's the most consistent I've seen them play offensively and defensively in the last several years.
Yeah, they've had some good offense teams. They've had some good defense teams. They've been so one-dimensional in the past, where this year I think they can throw it a little bit with Ethan Oquin. I said it before, even though they lost to Walker, I think they're the best team in that district. What this does, and we talked about it in a pregame show, okay, this could easily throw it into a 3-way tie for the tri-champions, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, as was the case last year. I think it ended up with 3 teams.
I think so.
East Ascension, I'm sure their strength factor was around 14 or something. Am I correct on that?
East Ascension was way down. East Ascension was at 30.
No, but I'm saying their strength factor.
Oh,
so
strength factor.
How is that kind of helping them a little bit? They've certainly struggled this year, but they've played a tough schedule, so the strength factor kind of helps out maybe a little bit.
It just helps you a lot of times, I think, if you get into a tie.
Yeah, okay.
But still, you hope that it helps you on the field more so, yeah.
You mentioned East Ascension. They get a 48-9 win over Live Oak. That's 2 in a row. They'll play Dutchtown, like Todd and I was talking off the air. East Ascension's a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm.
They are a dangerous team. They're playing well right now. Another game that it surprises me and then it don't was Ascension Catholic and White Castle. Ascension Catholic was 6-2 at their 2 losses, a 1-point loss to Dunham, and I think about a 3-point loss to Episcopal on back-to-back weeks. White Castle 6-1 going in, but I don't think they'd beat anybody with a winning record.
Did Elsie have another 300-yard game?
Well, let's put it this way: they won 67-26.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good possibility that he had a bunch of yards, and Bardalis is the one who returned the kickoff.
Fantastic.
Did he text you?
Somebody's texting me.
Hey, shout out. He's done it multiple times this season. It's incredible.
I'll give him a shout out if they answer who it is.
Be careful which ones you read.
Yeah.
And Zachary gets a win over Liberty. As we mentioned, that one was something we kind of anticipated, as well as Catholic High defeating Scotlandville, setting up that matchup next week. And, yeah, you talk about games where you go into a week like that with such a physical contest that on the other side you hope, hey, if you can get a bye, you can rest up and get ready for round 2 because that one will be tough.
We mentioned U-High Parkview next week for the 6-3A district championship. That'll be played at U-High, if I'm not mistaken, but also in 6-4A, Plaquemine and West Feliciana took care of business. They'll play at West Feliciana next Friday, so that's another good one with playoff implications.
The Baton Rouge area real competitive in Week 10. We're looking forward to that as well. Coming up, we still got plenty more to get to, as well as our Halloween festivities that we want to highlight a really cool spot in Ascension Parish. And also, we'll give out some awards in the form of helmet stickers before we get out of here tonight.
One more thing, Baton Rouge, while we're talking that, before we go to break. Elijah Haven, the freshman for Dunham, has another big night. He sets the Dunham single-season touchdown passing record. I know with his 28th on the year, he may have had more than that, but I know at 28 he set the record tonight. So congratulations to Elijah Haven. Good coach. Yeah,
Expect
Neil
many more.
Pretty good.
Expect many more from that young man, as we got a chance to see him just a couple weeks ago, and boy, he's a fantastic athlete. Looking forward to hour number 2. Don't forget, if you missed anything tonight, you can find it on demand at 1045ESPN.com or wherever you download podcasts. And you can share it with your friends and tune in, as next week we'll be certainly looking at a lot of power rankings. I don't know if it's been confirmed that the the coach, Eric Held, will make his yearly appearance on the show.
He probably
but
will.
It's always a busy time. Coach Josh may show up. It could be a full house, but we look forward to a lot of very math. I'm relying on you guys for a lot of the math. I'm not great at math next week on those power rankings.
Look, I'm trying to get something together. I need you guys' help. So I think Veterans Day is November 11th. So
On a Saturday,
on November 10th, we've come up with the idea to honor active military that have played with the LHSA. We always talk about athletes that move on to the next level, but I'm trying to get all the names of kids that are serving our country right now. You can go on Facebook page, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Facebook page, and put a name, put the high school, the year they graduated, and what branch of the service they are. We would appreciate it. We'd like to recognize them because what they do is obviously something that we can't do without. So
they had a couple on the field last week, and I believe Connor Finucane played at Catholic High with Army.
I think they have 4 local kids, if I'm not mistaken.
I know we've sent. A lot of guys, a lot of athletes have went into the service academies, and doesn't necessarily mean they have to have played athletes, but those who have served, certainly, we'd love to be able to honor them in a week or so. So let's go ahead and take a timeout. We'll be right back to get through hour number 2 of the Week 9 edition of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show.
Mom, what's for breakfast? Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. all of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of Front to Back Boat Service.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wasman.
Welcome back to hour number 2 here of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, week 9 in the prep football season. We are presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wasman, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, our cast of thousands behind the scenes, Ryan Kennedy, Casey Gaines, and Skip Cottrell, as we are bringing you the latest from the scores tonight, from recaps and highlights, and also some victorious head coaches. Wasman with a big win. Their head coach, Terrence Cahey, will join us in just a bit. Let's get you caught up on what's happening, and we'll start first in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, served by Walk-Ons.
Ascension over Live Oak, 48-9. Plaquemine defeats Faraday, 55-20. Episcopal over East Feliciana, 50-14. Ascension Catholic, 67. White Castle, 26. Santa Maula 31-28 winner over Walker. Zachary 56, Liberty 14. St. John 54, East Iberville 14. And Dutchtown 38, Denham Springs 7.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
John F. Kennedy blanks Patrick Taylor 51-0. Holy Cross shuts out Jesuit 30-0. John Curtis defeats Brother Martin 26-7. Edie White over Sam Houston, 45-31. Edna Carr, 39. Archbishop Rummel, 31. St. Aug De La Salle play tomorrow night at 7. Destrehan, a 23-13 winner over East St. John. And Thibodaux, 26. Terrebonne, 21.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
St. Thomas More over Westgate, 31-21. Acadiana defeats Carencro 27-26. Iowa over St. Louis 26-21. Catholic New Iberia blanks Loreauville 14-0. Jennings over Lake Charles College Prep 30-28. Kinder 32, Westlake 21. Opelousas a 51-7 winner over Burbridge. And Church Point over Kaplan 12-8.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
West Monroe over Alexandria, 28-23. Neville defeats Franklin Parish, 58-14. Homer over Glenbrook, 38-28. Manny defeats Red River, 52-18. West Washita, 21. Pineville, 7. Airline defeats Parkway, 33-16. Wasman over Union Parish, 12-7. And Ruston over Washita, 49-7.
The North Shore Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care.
St. Paul, a point better than Ponchatoula, 2019. Covington defeats North Shore, 22-21. Lake Shore is a 56-28 winner over Archbishop Hannon. Bogalusa defeats Pine, 42-21. Mandeville over Hammond, 46-6. Solomon defeats Pearl River, 49-7. Jewel Sumner over Albany, 27-21. And Slidell over Fontainebleau, 49-21.
Thank you, Skip, getting our scores tonight. And we have a scrolling ticker on the bottom of the screen if you're watching us on your view or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel to get a complete score update. let's go ahead and jump on. Well, Jimmy, you got something?
Yeah, we want to tell Mark Morrow, thank you. That's who was texting us. Also, an update on the Donaldsonville game. They do not know if they will play. It was actually 16-6 and not 16-16. Donaldsonville was leading, and because of what's went on since then, they do not. I know they were trying to play and had up till Monday to do it, but I don't know if they'll finish it or not.
So I'm going to go to our next guest. I want to read a quote from him when he was hired at Wasman, and it's a couple sentences, so hang in there with me. He says, "All I ask the kids to do and you to do is take me for what you see. Every day I'll be here. Every day I'm going to work. Every day I'm going to outwork everyone else in this area to get us where we need to be. My number one goal is not to win state championships. My number one goal is to try to save every young man we can. My number one goal is to make sure they're not in the streets. My number one goal is to make sure they have a trade, a degree, and some level of guidance after high school. After that, the wins will come. That's going to happen." I mean, I get
chills.
Yeah, I do. Unbelievable. That's awesome. And he's having the success. Coach?
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Coach, we were talking at the break, and we were trying to figure out how to pronounce your last name. And I said, right now you can call him anything you want after that win.
Call him Coach.
call him Coach.
Yeah, thank you guys, man.
Coach, that's a heck of a win. You know, going in, you give up your first point in 13 quarters. You had 5 shutouts. You're allowing 6.1. Defense has been lights out. And the question all week was, could your defensive front hold up to the Union ground game that's going to come right at you? And obviously you passed that test.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the guys, man, we've done a great job preparing. Hats off to my coaches on the defensive side. And then the kids, you know, they came out and did what they've been doing for 9 games now, which is executing the game plan, you know, and it not being about them and being about the guy on side of them.
Is it tough for you coming from a defensive side to kind of just sit back and watch, or do you have a little bit of input?
Man, no, you know, you know, our coach, man, our defensive coordinator, Coach Boxer, does a great job. You know, we're blessed to have 3 guys on that side of the ball who been defensive coordinators with myself included. So, you know, we bounce ideas and, you know, ultimately he makes the final say and I give him that, you know, leeway. And, you know, hats off to him, hats off to the coaches on that side and the kids.
Coach, let's talk about some of your guys. Dylan Johnson had a big interception late in the ball game. Up front, Jaden Williams, Broderick Walker, Fred Clark, Javante Spears. He's a 3-year starter at linebacker for you. Talk about, or 4-year, okay. And talk about some of those guys on the defense.
Man, just selfless, you know, because any given night it can be somebody else's night. You know, and those guys are willing to put themselves on the back burner to do what's best, you know, for the team. And, man, I say it all the time, and it's kind of cliche, but I couldn't be around a better group of young men who, you know, when the clock hit 0 last year at Lutcher, you know, they went to work and they were bought into everything that we tried to do. And, you know, man, happy for them to be able to bear the fruits of their labor.
Coach, I'm from up there. I went to school at Neville. I was there in the 80s, and I saw what Ray Gambino did with Wasman. And I know that you have talked about getting the school back to that caliber of football. What has Wasman been missing that has prevented that? Because there have always been athletes up there, and getting them to get out and be a unit and be one and have the success they're having isn't as easy as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, I have too much respect for this profession to speak on, you know, anybody that was here before me because I don't know. You know, I was down south. But what I do know is that we have a bunch of coaches in this building who love these young men outside of football. You know, I know that we have a great administration. You know, I know that we have a great superintendent, you know, and I just think they have people around them who really believe in them. You know, and I just speak life into them. You know, as much as I get on the butt, you know, I encourage them. You know, we encourage them, and they understand that it's bigger than just winning football games, man. And I'm telling you, for the first time, I kind of got chills listening to you guys repeat that interview, or I guess whenever, I made that statement, because that was kind of, I forgot about it after I said it, but I just knew that we do the groundwork, and, I try to live up to that,
Coach, I know that there's more football, certainly plenty more football left of the season, but I know you'll enjoy this one certainly right now. Can you take the moment, I guess, to tell us, this one seems like one that further down the road, when there's more success for you and your team, these are one of those milestones where you're going to look back and go, we turned a page and we did something, we kind of advanced ourselves, we progressed right here. I feel like that's kind of one of those situations.
And also, before he answers that and talks about it, you brought it up in the pregame show talking with Jake Martin, who covers that area up there. I think they beat you, 55-12?
55-12.
55-12, and you marked that down. You wrote it down, and you let it known. Hey, look at this score. We're not going to let this happen again.
Yeah, because I think you guys obviously have been around the game long enough to understand the ebb and flow of everything. And I think they were the better team, I do, but I don't think they were, 43 points better. I think that we quit, we packed things in, and that's not ever going to be indicative of a team that, I coach. And that was kind of my biggest deal this week, man, is can we get over that hump? I thought that we took the step forward against Northwood earlier this year. I thought that Calvary, we had plenty of chances to win the game, and we just wouldn't do it. So, happy that the kids finally were able to take that next step and, kind of prove the naysayers wrong, and more so prove ourselves right.
You're passionate, man. I can hear it in your voice as I'm sitting here talking to you about what you do. And like you said, all I ask the kids to do and you to do is take me for what you see. And I can't be more happy to talk to you and meet you over the air. And I think the world of you already, because your goals aren't to win a state championship. It's bigger than that. And getting those kids off the street and doing the right things ultimately will correlate to championships. But Coach, man, congratulations on a great start.
Man, hats off to you guys as well. Thank y'all so much for having me. And man, go Dub Nation.
Yeah, and look, I know you earned the right to celebrate and enjoy this one tonight, but Todd, unfortunately, it doesn't get any easier next week as they play Sterlington.
We got a big one in 6 days, man.
Yeah,
yep, that's right.
Sterlington, that's right. Well, good luck to you, Coach, and have fun the rest of the way with it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, man.
Thank you. While we were having the interview, he had texted me, and he didn't know. He's like, "Who am I on the phone with?" Like, I think Ryan was probably. I probably misled Ryan because he didn't know who I'd have said he's ready to go. But I mean, this is what he said in 2022, and then you turn back around and see where he is today, and he's right on cue. And it's what coaching's all about.
And he took a program 4-7 in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
And it has turned it around to just an unbelievable record right now. They go to 8-1, and again, Union's no slouch. Union, their losses were to Airline, Captain Shreve, and Sterlington. They lose the Holly kid, but they
got one of the best backs in the
Jamari
state.
and Island. He had 100. At the last I looked, he had over 148 yards, I think it was, and was still getting yardage. He's going to get his in that type of offense. But
he was number 3 in the state coming into this week with 1,500 yards.
Yeah, they were able to sustain it, and that was the question mark the whole week was, could their defensive line hold up against that pounding? And they're going to see it again next week because that's the same type of stuff that Sterlington's going to do. And they were able to do it. So, man, that's impressive.
It is.
Hats off to Coach Cahey and the Wasman Wildcats.
And he came from Lake Charles College Prep.
Okay.
Prior to that, he was at Washington Marion, and I think he played at McNeese. If I've got that.
Was he down there at the coaches clinic when we were down there for the?
I don't recall.
There was some coaches down there that we met for the first time, and I remember talking with them and their backgrounds and things like that. And sometimes you get a good feeling from a coach that just the way they go about and present themselves. And when it's more than about the game, sometimes that kind of stuff takes care of itself down the road because you're building something a little bit different, and the wins and losses or the wins and the playoff games and stuff like that can come if you can build that foundation strong enough.
You see Ryan Antoine at Westgate.
Mm-hmm.
He's made those type of statements. Bryce Brown
Mm-hmm.
at Carr, Jerry Phillips at Warren Easton, guys like that. They've made that statement that I just want to do a good enough job to get them out of here and get them out of the environment they're in.
You know, Cage, I think sometimes we have these interviews and there's coach speak. And then you have some of these interviews that are passionate and, you know, they mean what they say. And that's kind of the feeling I just got.
He's real.
Coach. Yeah,
he's real. It's not fake.
Right. Not saying that the people that
no, right. A lot of times the coaches are going to give you exactly what you want to hear.
Yep.
Well, as we go to break, I want to show a little display. Casey, if you can pull this up on the big screen for everyone to see as we go to break. And Ryan, if you can get the audio on this. This is a Halloween tradition unlike any other. It's a trip right down the road. Maybe Coach Todd Black, you can set this up because you saw the work that went into this before we hit the play
all
button.
this stuff that you're going to see, she's handmade it. I mean, like, she didn't make the doll per se, but like the faces, and she is my wife. And you'll see on the other side, she just is so creative with a lot of this stuff. It sometimes just takes her a little bit of time to do it. But once you see it, I mean, it's really awesome.
It is
she
impressive.
did a great job.
All right, we're going to play this as we go to break. So our radio audience, you need to flip on over to 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel or your view because you're catching something pretty cool. Thought I saw part of Brock's hair.
Don't have time for a trampoline injury? We don't have time for this today. We're here with online check-in so you can wait from anywhere. Plus, on-site digital x-rays. If you don't have time to be hurt, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Prep football from Carr to Karen Crow. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wasman, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. We are working on getting head football coach of the East Ascension Spartans, Coach Darnell Lee, on the line as the Spartans got a win tonight over Live Oak in 5A, 48-9.
That signal may not be too good in the laundry room over at EA.
Maybe it's a little noisy. I mean, all those equipment, they got some big boys, some big uniforms. And look, coaches, we always talk about the change that you go from being coordinator and assistant to a head coach. You could be driving the bus. You could be doing the laundry. You could be coordinating with officials. There's a long list, a laundry list, if you will, of responsibilities. Want to go to North and Central Louisiana just for a bit as we're working on getting Coach on and looking at scores. We just talked about the Wasman Union Parish game. Ruston having no trouble whatsoever with Ouachita. West Monroe and Ash. 28-23, the Rebels get a win in a close game.
Sets up a Week 10. West Monroe. You know, West Monroe is quiet. 8-1 now.
Yeah.
Only
Coach
loss
Davis
was to Zachary when they had several players out. So how good are they?
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out next week. They play Ruston. Ruston was a 49-7 winner over Ouachita. That game was 49-7 at half.
Yeah.
So running clock. Maybe Ruston's starting to peak a little bit. They haven't. I didn't think they'd played their best football up until now. Maybe they're starting to click a little bit on all cylinders. Airline Parkway up there was.
How about the Ruston West Monroe, the underlying?
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that comes back around.
That does come back around. I had forgot about it. See,
hey,
there you go.
All right.
So Todd sold his.
That one ought to be a little chippy. I would
think. Yeah.
Airline and Parkway, both of those two teams, 7-1. Airline, Parkway actually surprised me. They were up 16-7 at half. Airline answers in the second half, shuts out Parkway. They win 33-16. Both of their losses come to Captain Shreve, who we tried to reach out to Coach Kirby tonight, but we haven't been able to get him. We mentioned Union. Parish
Todd brought up
game.
that Homer win.
Yeah. Evangel again. Huntington up. I'm calling it an upset. They beat Evangel 34-29. That one kind of surprised me. Homer 38-28 winner over Glenbrook.
Yeah.
Neville blows out Franklin Parish. That one was kind of expected. In a couple games last night, Sterlington comes down to a meet and that's a big win. And hats off to both of those coaches for scheduling that game in week 9 as a non-district game. That's kind of like E.D. White and Sam Houston. You don't really have to or need to schedule that game, but they did.
Yeah.
And that's two really good teams. And it not only does it prepare you from the football standpoint of it, it prepares you for the playoffs coming up.
You make that unusual trip.
Unusual trip, long trip, across the state, get on the buses, and it prepares you for those type of things.
I don't remember the score last year, but I know it was a battle, wasn't it?
Yes, I have it.
I hope they keep that going. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but hope they'll keep that going between Sterlington and they meet.
This is the second year that they've met?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was like 26-20 last year or something.
And you'd prefer that in a week 9 setting, right? I mean, it kind of fits the way you're not.
Yeah.
It's not week 10. You're not right up against the postseason, but you still are close enough to have the experience of having to travel one way or the other, playing a team like that you may see or likely could see in the postseason.
And your team's playing 4 quarters because a lot of times, as Jimmy often mentions, they're not playing a full game, and you need that at this time of year.
We've seen Catholic High have situations where they've been up recently, speaking of that, and now you're going up against, Zachary on a Thursday night where, that's going to come into play. We saw that with U-High years ago where they were really kind of dominating a lot of their teams, and, hey, now you're going to get in a situation where you need to play 4 quarters. That is true.
You go back, I can remember in our early stages 10, 12 years ago talking with Louis Cook where they went through a 6-game stretch where his starters never played a half. It's hard to get in shape for that. Sterlington's defense got 2 late stops late in that game for the win. They took a lead. Amite answered. They had see if I can see that. They had a 71 and a 92-yard touchdown pass in that game to get them back into it, but the Sterlington ground game was the difference in it. They rushed for 284 yards and held Amite to 259. And their fullback, Todd, we always talk about Tramel Colvin, their tailback. He finished with 14 carries, 131 yards. But when you're playing a team like that that's going to run the option, you have to tackle the fullback first, and Gavin Evans had 25 carries for 109 yards, so he was getting that 4 to 5 yards a pop, just like they want, and he had 109 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That unicorn still exists.
While we're talking, we don't have Coach Lee yet, do we? We talk a little bit more about last night. Southern Lab and Kentwood, how about that one? 33-31.
Under the water tower?
Under the water tower, Southern Lab wins. I think that was their first win, Lab's first win at Kentwood since 2000.
Ooh.
And Coach Alsbury's son scored the winning thing. This game was extra points were hard to come by. Let's just say that. And it was missed opportunity, and then it comes down to a 2-point conversion. It's Southern Lab lined up to kick some earlier in the game. They said, heck with it. It's tied 31-31. We're going to go for it. And Amari and Alsbury gets the touchdown or the 2-point conversion. Marlon Brown had a good game running and throwing the football. This game was I thought both teams were fast. I thought both teams were physical, and the game was sloppy. They had 24 penalties for over 200 yards combined, and every time it seemed like one would get a little bit of momentum, it'd have a setback from a hold or a false start or something. But these are two of the better teams in the state, obviously.
Vermilion Catholic remains undefeated with their win over Central Catholic last night, 48-17. Captain Shreve, pretty big over Benton in their game. And St. Michael got the win over Estruma. We had Estruma early on in the season, and talking about a coach in a position that is trying to do things above and beyond the field of play as far as bettering young men out there. And they've been competitive. They've won some games. St. Michael getting the win last night, though, 49-34.
And again, they're in the middle of the pack, so they probably won't have a bye in the first round, but they're also open week 9. You mentioned Captain Shree. This is the second time this year they set the school scoring record. Quintorian Beaner, Quartini Beaner, maybe, their quarterback. He was the one we mentioned earlier in the year. We gave a helmet sticker to. He was a starting quarterback. He got benched. The guy who replaced him ended up getting injured, and he's come back and has just been unstoppable. Had accounted for 5 touchdowns last night, 4 of them rushing and 1 of them passing. And he talked about it off the air about the one thing he did was stay positive and encourage the guy who took his place and started teaching him. He said he watches a ton of film, up to 4 or 5 hours a day of film, which is a lot for a high school kid. And he,
Yes.
so hats off to that young man.
Southside over Lafayette, 56-38. And Cedar Creek, 42-0. Some other scores from Thursday night.
Told Neville has won 55 straight district games.
Pretty solid.
I don't surprise me. I mean, I had their stats last week about how bad they had outscored them over the years. It's just there's nobody in that district that can challenge.
There might be next year. Well, for wherever Neville moves to, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Let's hope they change this so we don't have to deal with it. You got district teams playing right now tonight.
Yeah.
There were big games that are going to be in different Division 1 and Division 2. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And some of those teams played tonight, actually.
Well, Wasman Union Parish, right? They're different.
They're in
brackets.
different. That's right.
So it's like
they're in the same district.
Yeah.
But they're along with Sterlington.
But again, that's been happening since 2013, but nobody cared.
But they need to redo it now, this year.
Yeah.
It's a rescheduled year, and fix that. Now, if they have 4 equal divisions, and they've changed who's select and who's non-select, it's a perfect time to do it.
We'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back here on this weeknight edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody tests.
Coaches and a radio professional. Gee, I wonder who wrote that one. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the weeknight edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. And we jump back on the hotline, and we're joined by a victorious head coach, Darnell Lee from East Ascension. They get the win tonight over Live Oak, 48-9. Coach, congratulations on this win, and thanks so much for taking a break from other coaching duties and joining us tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Coach, two big wins. Backs against the wall, 1-6 going into them. Played at that point, it was the most difficult schedule in 5A. I know that. But coming off of Denham Springs win 24-10, you followed it up tonight with a 48-9 win over Live Oak. Take us through a little bit of the game tonight.
We really had we started slow offensively. Special team mishap. I lost my two starting long snappers. Tanner Stanger broke his leg. He's one of our seniors. He was a captain for us. So he had to have that big surgery, and, we miss him a lot. He's one of our pillars. And then we lost the backup, so we had a sophomore come in, do his best, and snap overhead, gave him a 2-0 lead, and try to get a drive going. Defense got to stop, and we just had a huge second quarter. I want to say we scored like 35 points in the second quarter.
Coach, you've been battling some injuries also at quarterback. I think Hudson Brown was your starter. I think he's had some type of injury. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you've played another guy the last couple of weeks. How are they doing?
Yeah, so Hudson fractured a vertebrae.
Oh.
Maybe the L4 in his lower back. Caden Gocho really stepped up for us. Caden's a junior. Both of them are baseball players. So they have a great relationship. And Caden stepped in, and, we went a little bit, kind of went away from the ground and pound we've been doing early on in the season, and start spreading the ball around a little bit. And wide receivers Jackson Chasson and Brennan Thompson really had big nights tonight. And Caden did a good job of getting the ball to the players and closed out with a couple of good runs. But I'm proud of him, man, for stepping up.
How did your snapper do after that first snap? Or did you didn't snap again because you scored 35 points in the second quarter?
Man, yeah, that was the last. I think that was the last punt we had. But he snapped the extra point field goal. He did a good job. He's a little sophomore, man, plays baseball, so real tough kid. He's also starting strong safety for us in replacement of Tanner Stanger. But Dawson Landry is his name. and he settled down, and we got all our snaps after that. So.
Well, Jimmy, we know they didn't get their toughness from their baseball coach. That's for sure.
Oh man!
Just a shout out to Coach Cade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Coach Cade does a great job.
I don't know. He had some of the best sauce to be calling at that Santa Mall EA game. I need to find out who cooked that and get their recipe because that was the best ever.
That's one thing they can do out here for sure.
That's right. Coach, is it Aiden Joseph? Is that right?
Yes, Aiden.
He got him a couple or a carry last week, at least one, maybe two against Denham Springs, and he looked like he was just having a blast with it.
Yeah, man. Aiden was 2 for 28 last week with a touchdown, and we were backed up on the goal line before the half. Just needed some breathing room, they end the half out, and went on and gave it to him on a dive. He came to the sideline, asked me how did I like the refrigerator.
He's about as big as a refrigerator too.
Man, he's really a nose guard. We moved him to guard to give us some physicality on offense. So he brings that mentality to offense. Just got to harness it. Sometimes he's very emotional, but he's a competitor. And I mean, he lost a little weight. He's about 380 now. But the kid, he plays hard. He plays hard.
Is that you said Kelvin?
Joseph.
Yeah, KJ?
No.
Kelvin Gray.
That's who it is?
No, you're talking about Aiden Joseph.
Aiden Joseph. Okay, Kelvin. Because
Yeah.
Kelvin and Martinez both played for me at in Little Youth.
Right.
I wouldn't take him to a buffet. Ain't no way.
That offensive line averages around, 305, 302, somewhere up in there when we were talking earlier in the year. Talk about those big guys up front.
Somewhere up in there, man. We had a great game last week against Denham, and tonight, Live Oak stacked the box. They moved them. They did a great job of moving the defensive linemen and gave us some fits. So we just went to the perimeter, gave our playmakers a chance to make some plays, and Jackson Chasson and Brennan Thompson really showed up for us. And the big boys were able to close the night out with a couple of good runs and sealed the last run. I think of about 40 yards with our 10th grader Jason Blackburn broke free.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Awesome.
That's from 40 out.
That's senior runs Blackburn Express out in Ascension, does a good job with that. So congratulations there.
Yep.
Hey, I just got to ask you, are we going to take a break on that schedule a little bit next year?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It's tough. When you make phone calls to schedule games, and it's just, I kind of wish the LHSA would step in like the NFL and just make the schedules. Get your rematch of the state championship week 1 and, mix it up. But our schedule will change because we, hopefully we'll go into that district where PV will be coming in and, we'll start district week 4 and only have to find 3 games pre-district. But for sure I have Brother Martin week 1 and I think we have Edie White as of right now week 2.
And Zachary.
Yeah, Zachary. I think we have Zachary week 3.
Coach, you ain't taking no damn break.
Hey man, it's not really a break.
Jeez, that's still brutal.
But still, contracts have to be signed. We still got to talk to coaches at the end of the year.
And kind of wait to make sure what Prairieville, how they're fitting in and that type of thing too, because they'll eventually be there. But man, you sound tired. We know you're doing some washing, probably there 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning talking ball. But we, as always, appreciate your time.
Hey man, thank y'all.
No doubt.
There you go. It's
good win.
Head football coach.
I'm anxious to see. To see where they are in the power rankings. I don't know if Go Preps is up there.
I just look at it. That was legit. That was up to date.
So they dropped a spot with the win tonight?
Denham was at 30. They were at 37.
EA was ahead. Denham was at 37.
I thought Denham was at 37.
Oh, yeah, they dropped
Denham.
a spot.
So then they dropped a spot. Central did that last week. They lost, and they moved up. I mean, it's crazy.
That's a lot to do. With
the opponents' wins. But do we want to go to break or not?
Yeah, we'll take a break. I'm just thinking about Edie White and the other opponents. Brother Martin.
Yeah, we're taking a break. No, you're not.
Oh, man. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back to wrap things up tonight here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your view.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. Cade Wasman, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. And Ryan, yeah, we'll keep it right here. I want to go over real quick North Shore, and then we'll look at our helmet stickers as well. I don't know if we really hit on that, and New Orleans as well.
Yeah. On the North Shore, St. Paul kicks Drew Talley kicks a 40-yard field goal with 20 seconds to win the game over Ponchatoula 20-19. Destrehan holds off East St. John 23-13. That was a low-scoring game. Destrehan's defense going into tonight was allowing 4.9 points a game. We mentioned E.D. White with the win over Sam Houston. John Curtis, again, JT Curtis gets his 621st win over Brother Martin, 26-7. Holy Cross Jesuits, one of the oldest, if not the oldest rivalry in the state. They'd played 103 times. Now it's 104. Holy Cross gets a 30-0 win. Carr survives Rummel, 39-31. That game went back and forth the whole ball game, and that's about all we have from.
So Coach Curtis, 621 wins. If he averaged 15 wins a year, which we hadn't know he hasn't, it's 41 years coaching.
What has he been at? 55. Let's see. Do I have his? I may have his record.
I mean, to do that, he'd have to been in the playoffs for 40-something.
He's 621, 77, and 6. So it's 88% win record.
How many years he coached?
I think it's around 55, if I'm not mistaken. I think the other coach that he tied was 60-something.
Yeah, 621 is the tie with John McKissick from Summerville, South Carolina.
Yeah, a couple other things. We talked about the unfortunate situation over at Donaldsonville, but also they had ejections last night in the Logansport St. Mary game. Logansport won that game. They played the second half without one of their starting offensive linemen and their quarterback. They were ejected for their second unsportsman penalty. They had some words going on before the game. No, that was let's see.
Bourbon again's kicking in, Cade.
No.
What was the Week 10 game last year where there was a was
a meet a few years ago where they had to afford a playoff game. Also,
that was the quarterfinals. Yeah.
The state leading rusher, Kevon Johnson from St. Ed, 1,644 yards, 22 touchdowns. He was ejected for fighting in the Westminster game. If it's for fighting, it's a suspension. If it's for unsportsmanlike conduct, if I'm not mistaken, you're not suspended. You're just ejected. That's what happened in the Logansport game. They had penalties before the game, called everybody together, told everybody you got one unsportsmanlike conduct. Then they got one later in the ball game, and their quarterback and offensive lineman was ejected.
And on that North Shore area, St. Paul's gets the win over Ponchatoula 20-19. I don't have the stats in front of me or the standings in front of me. I believe St. Paul's probably ahead at 6-5.
St. Paul's won it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a 23-22 game or something like that with Covington and North Shore.
22-21.
22-21.
Yeah.
Mandeville is leading that district in scoring at 27 points a game. But nobody's just putting up any points over there. I honestly was surprised the Ponchatoula St. Paul game was 20-19.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be lower. I thought maybe
first person to 10 again.
Yeah, 14-10. I thought or so somewhere in that would win it.
All right, hats off to who made the cut tonight with our helmet stickers.
Highlighting tonight's top performers. This is Helmet Stickers on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
Some of us may have kind of the same idea because we had some really good interviews tonight, but I'll start with you, Coach Black.
I'm going to go to, I was given a tip for Daniel Beal.
Okay.
Threw for over 300 yards, 6 touchdowns, and I'm being told that is a school record.
Wow. They've had some good ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's had a good career there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with another quarterback from St. James. Braden Williams goes over the 5,000-yard mark and 50 touchdowns for his career. And then also a special one, Todd tweeted out last night, Delhi Sicily Island was called in the third quarter. Sicily Island started the game with only 13 players and had 3 injured, so left them with 10 players, so they called the game. Delhi wins 20-0, but I'm going to give it to Sicily Island's players for sticking it out, gutting it up, and going playing with a limited roster like that. I mean, to me, that's pretty cool because most programs say, all right, we're shutting it down, the season's over, but they're continuing to do this every week.
I'll give mine to Coach Terrence Cahey over at Wasman, a 12-7 win tonight over Union Parish, something they haven't done at that school since 2016. 55-12 was wrote up on the blackboard and looked at for 365 days, and they said, we're not going to do that again. And they came out and they played with some real guts tonight and pulled out the win. Doesn't get any easier, as you mentioned, Sterlington next week, but this is one of those parts when you're trying to build or paint the picture of the championship down the road. You can look back and go, hey, we did this here in 2022, and in 23 we got that win with Union Parish, and in 24 we did this. I
think it's pretty cool that he, said he had forgotten he said it, and he kind of got chills because I had it when I read it because but that's pretty awesome that you go back and say, man, that was pretty smart that day.
Yeah.
Because there are many times we say, what was I thinking when I did that, right?
Well, when he goes into a school like that, in a situation like that, and does an interview, you can see how easy it is for him to be impressive and the school board want to hire him. And that area, Todd, you can vouch for this. They're not very fond of going out of that area for coaches. They like to promote or hire coaches from within, from Monroe area, Ouachita area. They all are from up there, and they don't go out like this very often.
Does this hire and his success make it maybe more likely, knowing that
it should, but that's just something they don't do.
I think it's good for the principal or the superintendent, whoever it was that made that decision, because sometimes schools get in a rut and you need to step out to bring in some fresh blood in, and he was a good one for him. So continued success to Coach Cahey at Wasman.
That's going to put a wrap on week 9 of the prep football season. We get into next week. It is the end of the regular season. We're looking at power rankings, and we're looking forward to the postseason. And it is flown by, but we appreciate everyone who's been a part of the show this season. There's still plenty to go.
Dates have been set for the state championships.
Yep.
I'm going to give a shout out, as most of you may know. I've coached the freshmen over at Dutchtown. We're 7-2, and but more importantly, got their first 9 weeks grades. And out of 70 kids, there were only 2 Fs, only out of 70. And for it to be first semester in high school, I think that's tremendous.
And ninth graders struggle going from the big fish in the pond.
And I still want to strangle
to the little fish.
We'll see you next week. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
Mom, what's for breakfast?
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.